All right, looks like we are live and it is being recorded. My name is John Costino, and I would like to thank all of you for joining us tonight. I want to thank Miss Tracy and Jerry Montgomery, who I have been family with for a decade. They are not just my business partners, they really are family, and I have a tremendous amount of appreciation, not just respect, but respect and appreciation for all that they've done. And those of you that are here that know them, you understand what I'm saying. They are just a tremendous partnership between the two of them as leaders and a support for their team. And so it's my honor and my privilege to be here with them tonight to teach you. And what we're going to do tonight is talk a little bit about what I think is one of the most important elements missing from home-based business. And that's the transition that we all have to go through. And I preface this by saying I had to go through it myself. So when I talk about these things, I'm not talking at people. I'm really telling stories about me, because when I started in the home-based business arena, it was back in 1991. I was 23 years old, had gone to high school. All through high school, it was like, you got to get A's, got to be on the honor roll. You got to get a good education so you can go to a good college. Went ahead to college, spent 4 years at St. Joseph's University, studied marketing, mathematics, and psychology. Again, got to be on Dean's list, had to work hard so you get a good job. 1990, I graduated and there were no good jobs. If anybody can remember 1990, it was maybe one of the worst times for somebody to come out of school into the workforce, because that was when the baby boomers had clogged the system. They were nowhere near retirement and they had all the jobs locked down. And I don't think it was deliberate, but I said that was the scam of college, because now you graduated with that 4-year degree and you went and got some basic job that you could have had as an 18-year-old coming out of high school, but you were working now as a 23-year-old underneath people who had management and supervisor jobs because they opted for that job instead of college. And it was just a really awkward time. I was forced into graduate school. I was told that I had to either go to medical school or law school. And I chose law school simply because I liked the TV show LA Law. If anybody remembers it, that was my right hand to God. That's the only reason I chose law school. But I bring that up to say that I spent 1 year in law school. I won't go into that story, but it did not resonate with me on any level. And after lengthy conversations with a few professors, it was in my best interest, according to them, to take some time away and decide if I really wanted to be an attorney. So in 1991, after, like I said, 4 years hard in high school, 4 years harder in college, and a year of law school, I now was told to get a job in a very poor, jobless market, which landed me in home-based business. And I'll save that story for another day as well. But I say that to simply say, I would consider myself to be hardworking, because I managed the 8 years of high school, college, and plus a year of law school. Somewhat intelligent. I'm not gonna say I was a genius, but I wasn't a dummy. And then got started in the home-based business, and for 2 full years didn't know which end was up and didn't know left from right. And it was kind of like, oh, well, he's just a young kid. But I noticed that in that company, there were other people much older than me and much more experienced than me with the same struggles. Some of them were doctors, some of them were attorneys, some of them were accountants. And then there were people from the blue collar labor force. But it didn't matter. There was one common thread, and that was nobody successfully or effectively was able to teach an intelligent, hardworking human being how to be their own boss. So I tell you that whole story to say this. Most people, I'll say most, but it's probably really everybody, is going to struggle when it comes time for you to be your own boss, because here's the reality. No matter how smart we are, no matter how hard we work, inherently, we're lazy human beings and we seek the path of least resistance. Now, I won't call you a lazy or a liar, but how many raise your hand and say that inherently you're pretty lazy? I actually put 2 hands up to that, because I'm just going to be brutally honest. I'm the hardest working, lazy person you'll ever meet, because I work hard so that I don't have to. I'll do exactly what I have to do. And then as soon as I don't have to anymore, I'm happy to go lay by the pool, go to the beach, go to the gym, take a long nap, whatever. But I've recognized over my career now that there's things that you have to do first before you get to do the things that you want to do. So I share that with you because that right there was the biggest, we'll just say, aha moment for me very early in my home-based business career. As I said, 91 and 92, we'll just say I was very, very challenged. And then in 1993, something changed and shifted for the positive, and I was actually able to go out there and get some success and then began to teach and develop. So what I'm going to share with you tonight are a couple of keys to that transition to see if it makes sense to you. Everything that we're going to talk about, I'm going to throw out there to you for your, I'll just say, approval, because it's going to be up to you whether you choose to use it or not. However, nothing that I share with you is a guess. Nothing is something I'm just making up. I don't want to sit here and talk about my background as if I'm better than anybody else, but I will say this. I was worse than everybody else in 1991 and 1992, but I had one advantage. I was fortunate enough to be in the downline of an individual who made over $1 million per month in this industry. And this was back in the early 90s. So I want to put that in perspective. I was a punk 23, 24, 25-year-old kid who had an ego the size of Texas. But I was humbled because I didn't know how to make money in a home-based business. And I was studying and learning 3 weekends a month for 2 years under an individual who not only made over $1 million a month. How many of you recognize the name Tony Robbins? This is the guy that first trained Tony Robbins when he was just Tony who or Anthony who. And so I was very fortunate to be in the position. And then I was coerced and forced to take notes and learn. And that's a whole nother story. So I'm going to try to save the time from all of my very funny, sad stories of how I ended up where I'm at. But like I said, I don't take the credit for it. I was just very fortunate to have this drilled into me. So I'm going to share these things with you, and you'll decide for yourself if it makes sense. But what I'd like to do is, with your permission, Jerry, would you mind role-playing with me? You're muted.
Absolutely.
Thank you very much. The reason why I'm going to use Jerry is I'm going to use some pretty straightforward dialogue that I know he and I have had a million times, and he may have had with some of you. But I want everybody to listen to what I'm saying to him, how I'm delivering it to him, and then his response back. Because this conversation, and I'm going to pull it up and you guys can hear it in the form of a script as well. But I'm going to do this for you to listen so that you can decide for yourself, A, if I were Jerry, how would I be responding to John? And then B, if you're going to do this, are you willing to have this conversation with your teammates as me? So you got to agree to both sides of this conversation to be successful, because initially you're going to be on the receiving end of it like Jerry is. But once you start to develop a team, you're going to end up taking over my role, and you're going to be delivering this conversation. So give me 1 second while I go ahead and pull it up. All righty, hang on 1 second. I'm going to read, Jerry, you respond any way you want. You know what? I got to share screen first. I knew there was something wrong.
These darn computers. No.
Listen, I am not on any level technology competent, which is why I get so frustrated when people say, I don't know how to use it. I'm like, don't even finish your sentence because I don't know how to use it either.
Right. I understand it totally.
I'm going to assume everybody can see my screen okay?
Any way you can make it bigger?
Oh, it's huge on ours.
I was going to say that's actually the entire screen for me, but don't worry, I'm going to make this conversation available to everybody. I just wanted to put it up here so that you don't wonder what I'm looking at when I'm reading. Because I am going to read it right as it's written, and I'll preface it by saying this. You will develop your own conversation with the scripts I provide for you, but I put them together so that you have a framework to go forward. This is quite honestly called the responsible sponsor conversation. As I said, I'm kind of a no-nonsense guy. Either we're going to be responsible as a sponsor or we're going to be irresponsible. And we've already experienced those, we'll just say sad results. But it says when you enroll a brand new representative in your business, the very first thing you want to do is have the responsible sponsor conversation with them. This will help you to determine their level of commitment to their new business and your level of commitment to them. There is no wrong answer to this question. It is simply to allow you to know where your brand new business partner stands and the ability to get them back on track when they veer off, as everyone does. It is better for everyone involved to catch this as early as possible for many different reasons. One, to avoid having to chase them or them feeling pressured by you. How many of you have ever felt like you were a stalker chasing after your representatives?
Mm-hmm.
Have you ever felt like you were being stalked by somebody pressuring you to do stuff you didn't want to do?
Yep.
This conversation avoids it completely. Number two, to determine if you need to cut them loose and or replace them. One of the challenges that as a leader, I'm talking to all of you, regardless of how brand new you are, you will become a leader in this business.
Absolutely.
Yes.
Challenges is that you have to know when is the right time to let somebody know, I still love you, but I need to let you go for now because you're holding back the entire team. It's one of the hardest but most important things to learn because it's like tough love. If you're a parent and you love your children, you sometimes had to give them a tough love conversation or a punishment or a timeout, or in the case of me, a whipping every once in a while from my dad to get me in line. But the point is, as an upline leader, you might have to let people know, hey, I'm going to let you go for a couple of weeks and I'll reach back out to you and hope that that couple of weeks that I'm not reaching out to Jerry, he's going, damn, what do I got to do to get John's attention again? Rather than John's just a jerk. And the idea is if you're doing it right and you're being responsible, that will feel the void and will be attracted back to you, which is what your goal is for you and for them. And number three, it lets them know that you're serious about your business as well as your commitment to them. So that's the preface of why we do this. When they do go off track, you'll remind them of this conversation to be able to determine if they have changed their commitment, goals, or intent so that you don't waste time with somebody who is no longer serious about their business or have your time taken away from someone else who is serious about their business. Folks, I will tell you right now that we can pretend all we want, but time is limited. When I started teaching this, I was 25, 26 years old. Now I'm 55 and I'm coming off a pretty horrendous injury that unfortunately now, as I told Miss Tracy earlier, I find myself taking naps in the middle of the day, not because I'm lazy and want to take naps, but because after a rough day of doctor's appointments and some of the tests they put me through, I come home and I really can't function. So I'm now losing 3 and 4 hours of work time. So my time has to be used effectively, which is why we're here tonight at 8:30, so that I can talk to a group of people rather than 5 or 6 one at a time. So the reason we're doing this is to preserve everybody. I'm just sharing you why my time has become so precious. Each and every one of you have your own version of why time is limited and why it has to be best used. So now you can see the green. I'm going to role play this with Jerry, but I want again for you guys to listen. And it might sound stupid, but even close your eyes and just listen to our dialogue, because again, you have to answer, would you as Jerry want to go forward? And you also have to answer, would you as John be willing to have this conversation with your people? So I'm going to say, Jerry, welcome to our team, my friend. Congratulations on your decision. I am so excited to have you as a partner. But before we go any further, I just really need to ask you an important question. And don't worry, there is no wrong answer. Your answer is just going to help me to determine which path we're going to take. So the question I need to ask you is, are you really serious about succeeding with your Transact Card business? And do you really want to make a lot of money with it?
I'm absolutely serious, Mr. Castino, because I really need this bad and I want to learn.
Are you 100% sure, my friend?
I'm 100% sure.
Great. Because I am extremely serious and committed to the success of my business. And honestly, Jerry, I'm only looking for 3 committed people to be my board of directors. And I will be 100% committed to their success as well by working with them and helping them to reach their goals with the Transact Card business. So if you're really sure that you're one of those 3 serious people and you really want to be successful, I want to let you know that I'm 100% committed to you and to your success, and I will lead you in the right direction, and I'll make sure that you receive all the best information, and I will keep you on track whenever you veer off. Now, I'll make sure that you're doing the things that you need to do, Jerry, versus things that you want to do. And I'm saying that with respect to you, man to man and friend to friend. But we all have that challenge. There's going to be a time when you're going to choose to do things that you really want to do versus what you need to do. And it's going to be my job as your business partner to make sure that you get back on track. So I want us to be clearly on the same page, because I never want to pressure you. I never want to chase after you. And I never want you to feel like I'm asking more from you than you've committed. Does that make sense?
That makes a lot of sense. That's fair. That's fair.
Jerry, if at some point you change your mind and you really don't want the success that you're telling me about right now, the reason why you told me earlier that you were starting the business in the first place, please just be honest and let me know, so I'm able to replace you with someone who is serious and wants to be successful. And more importantly, what helped me to develop this team, because that's what my core 3 board of directors do. They help me with the development of the whole team. Does that sound like a fair deal?
That sounds very fair. I mean, you're being straightforward with me, and that's what I want.
Excellent. And in that tune, I'm going to ask one more time, are you 100% sure that you're serious? You want to make a lot of money and help me develop this network?
I'm 100% sure, Mr. Castino.
Fantastic. Now I'm going to pause there for a second because there's a little bit more as far as the information, but I want to pause there and give everybody the chance to respond.
Got the video.
I'm going to go ahead and stop the share on that. If anybody has questions, comments, thoughts, this would be the time to bring them up, because that conversation, again, I'm not kidding when I say this, is possibly the most important conversation you're going to have with your new people. And I want to preface this by, number one, Jerry, at any point, did you feel I was being disrespectful to you?
No, you're just being honest and upfront. I think not going any further, but we need to get an understanding with everyone that we're here to help them. And sometimes we're not going to be perfect. Is that fair?
Absolutely. And by the way, you can now speak as Jerry Montgomery to the group. Meaning I want everybody to give their feedback, but obviously I chose you to role play it because, you know, you and I've been in this role so many times. I know that you know it. Would be more than happy to have you give your feedback first and let everybody have the chance to share their thoughts. Because again, this is the rubber meeting the road conversation when somebody's coming on board. And it's not meant to be abrasive. It's not meant to be combative. It's meant to have that person say, damn, I'm really lucky. I'm really lucky that this person, because it doesn't have to be John Costino. It can be anyone who is sponsoring a new person in. You want them to feel like they hit the lottery by being sponsored by, and that sounds really cocky, but that's
it's
honestly how I feel. I expect if your name or if my name is on your enrollment as your sponsor,
Yes,
you hit the lottery.
absolutely. Absolutely.
But I want everybody to feel that same way when they're sponsoring somebody, that you feel confident enough in your ability to guide them and lead them, that you've just given them a winning lottery ticket.
Well, here's my say on that is because number one, for everybody on here, and by raise of hands, how many people are serious about your success? Anyone can raise their hand. How many people? Right? See, this is what I like about what we do, John, is because when you have a top leader, and it is what it is. We got to be honest with each other, you all. John has more experience than Tracy and myself. He's taught more people than we have. However, we've taught thousands and thousands of people as well. We had some success, not as probably as great as John, but what I love about John, and I want you all to hear this, and I said to him, I like his rawness. He's like a lion or a tiger unleashed to help you fight all the rest of the animals. So sometimes he's going to be straightforward, and we're going to be straightforward, but don't take it as us being rude. But we're in the business, right? Everyone, would it be fair to say we all want to succeed, like he said, right? And we've all been in corporate America, some of us in the corporate side. And I was telling Tracy the other day, John, when I was sitting in a room full of about 10 guys and he's smoking cigarettes and they got coffee and they're coughing and everything. And I'm sitting back there healthy. They wonder why I'm not sitting around. I say, I can't smell that smoke.
Right.
We all got suits on and ties, right? And the language used in the room, you will say, man, these guys are like animals. But when they walk out, you think they are the most highly educated, nicest people in the world. But that in locker room training, what we're saying, and I'm give it back to you, is we're going to be raw because you're going to run into people. The other day, I ran into some guy, he wouldn't even let me talk. I was like, what? And is he on speed or? But you're going to run into that. You're going to run into people that know more than you and they never even got into business, right, John?
Oh, they're my favorite people.
They know more than you. But yet still, they're going to tell you what to say to them and how to say it to them. So this training is real. And when we stop and you have a question, you have us. So I give it back to you, John.
No, thank you very much.
Yeah.
Honestly, I'm trying to get good light. There's no good lighting on me.
No, you look good. You're great like that. Yeah. Yeah.
I would love to get feedback from those of you listening. And again, any feedback, this is not, when I teach and train, this isn't like, you better like what I teach. This is how I have developed my team. If it doesn't resonate with you, that's okay. But I want to at least give you a framework to start from. So anybody have any thoughts? Good, bad, ugly?
I might say so.
Hey, Larry.
How are you? I see it looks like Rudy has his hand up.
Is that my mute? Can y'all hear me?
Yes, we can hear you
now.
Yeah,
Okay,
we
how,
hear you.
hey, how y'all doing? How you doing, John? I'm Ashley Hill.
Wonderful.
I'm just so excited about this new business and how you and Mr. Montgomery did the role playing. I like that because people want to know and hear confidence in a person, and the more confident you are in yourself, they're gonna be confident in you and more confident in themselves as well. And like I say, feel like you hit the lottery. That's the most best feeling in the world. So I just want to thank y'all, and y'all giving us $1 million worth of game for free. So that's a blessing, and y'all always have. So I want to say thank you, gentlemen, so much.
You are very welcome. Thank you for being here. And this is not a one-off. This is, we're going to do this a couple of times a week onward. Our goal, my only request is that we always fill it up, because as long as there's new people coming in, we're growing and we're productive, and it's a good use of all of our time. So I thank you for the kind words.
This is Trisha. I'm not going to show my picture. I'm having a bad hair day. But anyway, listen.
That's what you need to me, Miss Tricia. I just put it all black.
I had a doctor's appointment today. And, normally you go into the doctor's office and, you do what you got to do and blah, blah, blah. And I'm sitting there wrestling with myself and my conscience. And my conscience is saying, say something. The me that I'm used to says, well, not right now, not a good time. And so, you have this good and bad sitting on your shoulder telling you, no, this is not a good time. They're getting ready to do this, getting ready to do that. And it was like, okay, I'm not going to say anything. And I tell you, as soon as I said, I'm not going to say anything, I hear John in my head. And I ended up going, listen, you got $25.
Oh, wow.
You have $25. And she starts laughing. And she said, why are you asking me that? And I said, let me tell you why I asked you. And so the conversation just started there. And I think for me, I just had to break that ice. And that ice wasn't with her. The ice breaking was for me.
Right.
It was for me. And with that, and before I left, I had tackled 3 more people before I left the doctor's office. And so it's like I can present it to you. I can lead you to the water, but I'm not going to force you to drink. But I'm going to give you a good reason why you need to drink this water. So this is in the short period of time that I have known the infamous John Costino, that, life is going to teach me a lesson, whether I want to learn it or not.
Yeah.
So I'm grateful, and I look forward to your trainings all the time. And with the support I get from our next presidents up here, Mr. and Mrs. Montgomery, that I'm getting built up, I'm getting edified, I'm getting fed, and I've never had this before. I was doing this all wrong. And I know I was, based on just those short times that we have been together on these calls. And I'm going, oh my gosh, what would have happened to those 50, 60 people I've contacted if I had done it the right way? But I didn't know how. I was never taught. And so now I know how to approach the next 50 or 60 people. It won't be the way that I did it before. Thanks, John. Thanks, Tracy, and my brother, Jerry.
Thank you, Miss Tricia. Thank you for the kind words. But I will simply say this. You have learned on a very fast track, because all I can tell you is you're not alone. When I say we all go through the most harsh of school of hard knocks when we get into this industry, and the fact that you stayed in after the struggles is a huge, huge success. And then we're willing to learn and apply what you were taught. So thank you. You are the reason why, I'll speak for Jerry and Tracy the same, that we do this, because we love helping each and every one of you go from that stage of how did I get here and what do I do, to the confidence. And that's really what it is, the confidence to initiate those conversations. And again, I'll say this 1,000, if not 1,000,000 more times, as long as we're with an opportunity, like I said in the last training, that we are proud to represent, something that we are able to be excited and passionate about, then it's 90% done, because we're not gonna feel passionate about something stupid. We're not going to feel passionate about something legitimate. Meaning you can, if you're a person with no moral compass, you can hype people into scams, but I don't think you feel passionate about it. When
No,
you feel passionate about something, there's a foundation there that's solid.
feel it. Feel
And
it.
that's what we need to do is work on ourselves to develop that comfort in feeling, excited and passionate when we're talking to people. That's really what it comes down to. Is as stupid as that sounds, it's losing the ego and being comfortable, uncomfortable.
Yeah,
Mhm, mhm.
absolutely,
I'll
absolutely.
say being willing to get uncomfortable, because what we do goes against, the norms of society.
Mhm.
Well, I'm very introverted. No, you're not. You've just been forced into a shell, because if you weren't afraid of whatever you're afraid of, you'd be talking to everybody and happy. If you're not sure, go to a playground and look at a bunch of 5-year-olds.
Yeah, that's
Mhm.
true.
They're just running around, eating dirt, throwing rocks at each other
Right.
until their parents grab them and whip them. But I mean, that's where we all would be as adults if we had not had, some type of fear beaten
Training.
into us, that we're now afraid to go out there and be that same goofy little person and have fun.
Mhm, mhm.
Well,
Any questions, comments, thoughts? Again, this is for you all to share with me, because my only goal is for you to get off these trainings and do what Miss Tricia just said, feel empowered. That's
Kinda
the
terrible.
word. Empowered to go out there and talk.
we have someone
I do. I have a question.
yes, there.
Hi,
Hi,
Crystal.
guys.
Hi.
Hi. I have a question. I was really curious to know, how did Miss Patricia continue the approach and conversation with that lady at the doctor's after she asked for the 20? Did she have $25?
Patricia?
Would you like to
Okay,
share, Miss Tricia?
that was my icebreaker, because normally now they know me because I've been going there for so long, and they know that I've never asked any type of question like that. So it was like, what? You asked me for $25? And I said, yeah, you want to know why I asked you for $25? And it's like, well, yeah, why did you ask me for $25? I said, how much do you spend on lunch? And they would tell me, maybe like close to $20. And how frequently do you do that? And then they would tell me, maybe like a couple times during the week. And I said, what's the benefit from that? And it's like, well, I was hungry, so I wanted to eat. So let me tell you, what would you say if I told you that you could double the amount that you spent for those 2 days? What would you do with it? Man, probably put some gas in my car. What if I told you, if you swiped a card that gave you double back, and that you could spend it any kind of way you want to, and you probably won't pay as much as you did the first time? Well, what are you talking about? That was my open door.
There you go.
Yes.
Got it. Got
There you
it.
go.
Got it.
There you go.
There you go. Thank you for that information.
That's fantastic. And you'll all get the chance, as you immerse yourself in the benefits of being a TCM Transact Card member. We're here talking about the business, but the business is just how we grow a new franchisee
Yeah.
to get more customers. Ultimately, we're all a customer. We're all going to do the customer swiping. We're all going to get the customer benefits. So those are the things that we want to immerse ourselves in, because ultimately, whether you have 3 DBOs and you hit manager, or you help your 3 become manager and hit senior manager, we're all going to do the same exact things. I'm happy to announce to you right now that I'll be posting when we get done that Miss Tracy and Mr. Jerry have reached senior managers. So please put up for them.
Thank you.
Woo!
Congratulations.
Yeah.
Congratulations.
Thank you
Thank
all.
you,
Thank
y'all.
you. Thank
They
you.
became senior managers
Congratulations.
because
Thank
they
you.
helped each of the people that they personally brought in to reach manager. And I think you've actually broken 4 or 5 managers in your team total, haven't you?
Yes.
Yeah, quite, yeah,
Yeah.
yep, more, yep, a little bit more, maybe.
So it's not just that they're going, oh, I'll get you to manager because it helps me. They're helping anybody in their team
Yep,
wants to hit manager, they're helping them.
Mhm.
That's the beautiful thing about this is
yes,
that you are going to help other people. And if you're successful in helping other people, you're going to get rewarded yourself tenfold. But ultimately, we're all going to go out there and get customers. So you're going to want to learn all of the benefits. And again, I talked about this on the last training. We're in that transition phase. We only have 12 days left. Today's the last day of October, and the event is in, I think, the 12th or the 13th. So we've only got less than 2 weeks. And then everybody will be able to see the Z Club. Everybody will be able to request their new Transact debit card. But regardless, even in this transition, you can talk about those benefits and get people excited about it. I won't repeat everything I said on the last training because that was recorded. And as long as I can find it and get it posted, you can watch that. But this is the most challenging time to get a Transact card member or to get a digital branch office. However, it is also the time with the greatest upside, reward, and benefit for somebody to become just a Transact card member or just a digital branch office. So I won't go into that right now, but what I would like to do is, if there are any other questions on what I was sharing with Jerry, if not, I want to go through the last piece, which is the checklist. And I think this will help tie everything together.
yeah.
No questions, comments, thoughts?
Anyone?
You either
Let's
think
roll.
you're just an amazing trainer and have nothing to add, or you're just too crazy to say anything.
Well, I can say this, John, you remember when we used to make them sign, you remember the sheet
Oh,
we had?
it
you
used to
remember
be
that?
a written contract, exactly.
It was a contract.
Yeah.
We used to make sure everybody signed a contract years ago.
Yep.
So we can make sure that they say, well, I never said anything like, oh, well, here's your signature.
Here's the
right here.
paper, exactly.
Here's
Which,
the
by-
paper, yeah.
That's
Which,
right.
by the way, Jerry and Tracy, you can feel free to pull that stuff back out. Meaning, just
Well,
find-
we have so much, we probably
I
will
mean,
do
boy,
that.
Training, stacks of things. It's very important, everyone, that you take notes because you can go back over them, and regurgitate them. So we just want everybody to really feel free. You have the power. Can I say this, John, real quick?
Of course.
We have the power that when you're talking to a new person, remember, they don't know anything about this. That's why I like Patricia, your icebreaker was awesome. But it's just for feel that you have the power. You know it. If you listen to the videos, you will regurgitate. If you hear it over and over and over again, you remember what we have up to the 31st for to be a customer and get the fees waived for whole for the life of being a member. So, and then we have up to the 11th to hit your position if you decide to want to be a DBO. So it's just things in there that you can regurgitate and put it out. Don't walk with fear, right? And we all know what the acronym for fear is, right?
False evidence appearing real.
Correct.
So we know that's why we have to. You want to be aggressive, but in the nicest way. And and understand something. You can't make somebody that's not receiving it want it. Is that fair, John?
No, that's why this conversation is so important, because I'm going to hand it to you and you're either going to take it or you're not. And if you don't, I find somebody who will. And if you do, I just hammer that point home and make sure you remember you picked the ball up. I didn't throw it at you.
There, you all hear that? So some will, some won't. So what? Next.
Correct. Correct.
All right, let's get it.
All right, let me go ahead and share screen again. Let's see. So just to wrap this one up, it says, if they say yes, start their launch plan by giving them the sponsor and rep checklists, which will be coming soon. If they say no, determine their level of commitment and start their launch plan at their own pace. Remind them that you will still make sure that they're supported to reach their goals. However, you will be running with those who are serious and want to make a lot of money, and they will be placed underneath someone else who can support them at the pace they're willing to go. So it's not ever meant to be a disrespectful, condescending, arrogant conversation. It's just like, I'm going to be running much faster than you plan to, so I'm going to find a partner that's going to be running at your speed to be there for you whenever you need them. And it doesn't mean there's anything wrong with them. It just means based on their level of commitment, you're going to have a personal trainer at their level for them.
Absolutely.
And as you heard with Jerry earlier, once they say yes, now you have the permission to remind them and even push them down the path of success, even to become a little bit of a nuisance, to make sure they do what they need to do, not what they want to do in order to become successful. Remind them, if you need to, that they gave you this permission when they joined. That's why Jerry said that's why he added in writing. And that you are only doing it to help them. Otherwise, you will go on to help others who truly want it, but you didn't want to assume they changed their mind. Give them that opportunity to do what you need, or for you to go work with others because they've changed their mind about their own commitment. So that wraps up the responsible sponsor conversation. Now I'm going to go ahead and pull up the diagnostic checklist.
Brings back so many
Oh
memories.
my God. That's,
You're like, man, I can't believe this clown still has all this stuff.
no, that,
Yes.
we gotta have it.
Wow. He still has this? Are
Yeah.
you serious?
Toby,
You're
Toby,
Toby.
you hear Toby, don't you? You hear Toby.
Oh my goodness.
Absolutely.
Oh boy.
And guys, if you think for 1 second that I'm kidding, I don't want to put him on the spot, but there's a gentleman who's on here watching that
Yes.
went through this training back in 1999, 2000, when I was a little bit more rough around the edges and a lot cockier.
He
But
just gave a thumbs up.
yeah, that, I mean, that's what this is. This is how I have built 3 very large organizations over the years by just following these basics. And as you can see here, this is a checklist that, again, I'll have
Yeah.
posted, and you're going to put people's names down. And as you can see on it's the reason I call it a diagnostic checklist is you will go through these phases or these steps with each person, and you will either continue moving forward with them,
Mhm.
or you will X them out and know that you've at least exhausted every attempt. But approached, did you, like, you put 50 names down, the
Mhm.
first thing you have to do is you have to approach them. So until you've approached them, it's going to be blank. Once you have effectively approached that person, you get to put a little X in there.
Mhm.
After you've approached them, did they watch the 3-minute video?
Mhm.
If they did, you get to put a little X in there. But if they didn't watch the 3-minute video, you didn't do anything. All you did was approach them and left a gigantic open door
Mhm.
that nobody has walked through yet. After they've been exposed, closure. Did you have the closing conversation with them? If you're doing it the way I teach, the answer is always going to be exposed, closed is always going to be 1-to-1, because you're watching the video with them either in person or you're listening on the phone while they're watching it. So when you're getting that 5 minutes from them to see the 3-minute video, the closing, the follow-up conversation must happen immediately. After the closure, did they enroll? That's when you're going to find out, did you get a TCM? Did you get yourself a Transact Card member or a customer for your business? Or did you get a digital branch office?
Mhm.
If If you have not checked that box yet, then you have to assume that you've tried everything and they're not interested. They said, thanks, but no thanks. But you skip all the way to the end. Did you at least get some referrals out of them? If
Mhm.
Jerry says, no, he's not interested, he's not going to become a member, he's not going to become, I'm at least going to take a Hail Mary and say, all right, I get this isn't for you. And clearly you don't love your wife as much as you said. Otherwise she would be getting a trans. But y'all hear what I just said?
Yeah.
Yeah, they didn't catch it. Went up 747.
Oh, I caught it.
Toby did.
If Jerry's my buddy and he's telling me, no, he's not going to be my business partner, and no, he's not going to take the Transact Com and say, "Well, clearly you don't love Tracy as much as you claim to, because otherwise you'd be getting the card for her," but that's okay. Jerry, is there anybody you'd like to at least refer me to? And that's my polite way of smacking him right upside the head. Like,
Yeah.
damn, no, you should be getting the Transact card for Tracy, even if you're not going to do this.
Right.
So always, again, that's my confidence in what I'm offering him, that I would say something that silly, knowing that he's not going to punch me in the face. He's going to shake his head saying, you're right, I should get the card for Tracy. But the point is, that's how you get a referral from a no.
Yep.
If,
That is true.
however, he did enroll, did I follow up with him? And the following up with him would be, did I have the responsible sponsor conversation?
Yep.
Did I go through this diagnostic checklist? So there's some things that we're going to be doing with our brand new person to make sure. Did I make sure that he has the effective approach conversation down? Just like you heard Miss Tricia, she had a lot of conversations before training, and now she's having conversations after training. And in her own words, she's having more success now. So if you're bringing a brand new person in and enrolling them, how long do you want to let that person go before you give them the basic training on how to effectively speak to the people they talk to?
Yep.
Mhm.
That's what followed up is. And then, of course, if Jerry joined and I did enroll him and I did follow up with him, then I want to have Jerry take this diagnostic checklist and put 50 names down. Don't call them yet, Jerry, but
Oh.
I'll sit here with you. Let's get their list, get that list all ready to go, and then make sure that person is prepared to effectively approach, is prepared to effectively talk about the Transact card membership to get them as a customer, and to effectively go out there and what I like to call edify the speaker. And that's going to bring me to the last document for the night. The recruiting process. It's real simple. The first thing that you're going to do is effectively approach people.
Mhm.
In that approach, you want to create value for the short 3-minute video. Let them know it's less than 3 minutes. We're going to watch it together. I just want to get your opinion on it.
Mhm.
After the short video, you're going to create value and respect for the presentation. If you have not been on the company presentations, you need to get yourself on them, because they're less than 30 minutes. They're very informative. They've got, I don't do them because the company presentations are that effective. That's the easiest way for me to tell you. If I didn't like the presentations the company was doing, I would be doing them all the time myself. I've had to do that in the past when I didn't resonate with what the company was saying. This, not the case. You should feel very comfortable creating value and respect for the company overview or presentation, and then get the person on, go with them. Don't just send them a link and hope they watch it. Coordinate. Hey, Jerry, when is the best time for you to watch a presentation tomorrow? Is the morning, afternoon, early evening, or late at night? What's the best time for you? Because the company
I'll
does
say
presentations throughout the day.
early evening. Early evening would be great for me.
Perfect. So I'm going to lock down the time with him, and I'm going to put it in my planner, and I'm going to let Jerry know. I'm going to contact you about 15 minutes before the presentation to remind you to get to the computer. But those are the little things. I call it hammering the nail all the way in.
Yep.
And I want you to have this visual. If you've ever walked through a doorway that had a nail sticking out a tiny little bit, just a little jagged edge of the nail. How many
Snag.
times have you ever snagged your shirt or your sweater or whatever you're wearing? And you're like, for heaven's sake, the doorway is, 4 feet wide. You're able to walk through there, but yet that tiny little nail somehow grabs the piece of clothing and destroys it because it wasn't hammered all the way in. That's how I try to run the business. Hammer the nail all the way in and make sure there's nothing left for confusion.
Error. Yep.
So now Jerry has seen the live web presentation. The next step, create value and respect for the expert I'm going to introduce them to. And then you get them on, meaning when we do these webinars, if you're going to bring a new person on, you're going to create value and respect for Miss Tracy, Mr. Jerry, and Mr. Costino, because that's the expert they're going to come and hear. If it's the webinar presentation by the company, you're going to create value and respect for a leader in the company who has been with the company, who has the background on what the company's been doing for the past few months in pre-launch, and most importantly, can share with you the vision for this company over the next 6 to 12 months and how they can fit into that growth. That's how you create value and respect for the presentation, or in this case, for the live interaction with an expert, which we're just doing in a group setting because I'm getting too old to do them all one-on-one. But the bottom line is, if you guys apply those 6 steps, you apply the diagnostic checklist, you use the effective approach when talking to people, you use the effective customer enrollment when talking to people, you use the responsible sponsor conversation after you bring a new DBO in, your business will run like a well-oiled machine. It'll be like a cookie cutter assembly line.
Yep.
And that's so that none of us, none of you and not me, none of us have to do all the work or have to be experts in every area. We just have to be like an Uber driver, know where the person is and know where they're going and make sure you take them there.
There you go. There you go. Well, may I say something, John, real quick? And I have to.
Absolutely, I'm done. The floor is yours.
I want to say this to everyone. I think with John and Tracy and myself, we were talking about. We're gonna really demonstrate, John, next training, how to properly edify the expert when they're going doing a 3-way call.
Okay.
Because some people edify the person who they're putting on first, and then they edify you. They should never do that. Am I correct? That's a de-edification at the highest level.
Yeah, there are a couple of little rules, and you know what? I'm glad you're bringing that up. I will make that the topic for Thursday night. And we will do a deep dive on the approaches and on how to create value and respect for your expert.
There you go. All right. Listen, I got to go, guys. John, you're awesome.
You be safe, my friend. I will hold the fort down here with Miss Tracy. And
All right.
if anybody has questions, this is the time to ask all of your questions. Again, my only goal is for you to get off here confident, excited, and empowered to go out there and talk about your business.
Love you guys.
Good night, Mr. Jerry. Love you too, my friend.
Have a good night.
All right, Jerry, take care.
Night, my brother.
Take care, Jerry.
Okay, guys, the good, the bad, the ugly. Questions, comments, thoughts?
Later, Jerry.
If you
Anyone
don't
have
have
any
anything,
questions?
if there are no questions, we can.
Yes, I have. Yes, I have a question.
Yes, Mark.
When is the card? When will we receive cards?
The new cards will be coming out after the launch, which would be November the 15th. The company will be releasing all of the information at the launch event. And then the following week, all of us will be able to request our new Transact debit cards.
Well, Mr. John, this is
Okay.
Tyrone Ellis.
I heard
Okay,
two.
so
Mark, did that answer your question? And I'll get to you, Doc.
now at that point, is where we'll learn exactly where we'll be able to use the Z-Bucks when we
Correct.
get the card.
Yes, part of that release of information will be the Z Club and all of the benefits that go along with it. So people will be able to redeem, is the best word, I guess, the Z-Bucks in the Z Club. They'll get a chance. They're holding back so that everybody at the launch event will be the first people to see and experience all that's being offered. And then very quickly on Monday, it'll be made available to all of us. Thank
Hey,
you.
John. Can you hear me, John?
Hang on one second. Is that Rudy? I'm not sure who was next. Yes, go right ahead, sir.
Yeah. How long has the company been in existence?
It is a pre-launch. They've been working on it for about a year. The pre-launch enrollment phase has been about 5 months.
Oh, so just a new business started out with no capital or anything right now?
I will say this. I've done a fairly deep dive on it. This is a 3.0, meaning there have been a few prior attempts at putting this together.
Mm-hmm.
Each time there were some challenges because it's a big deal to take a number of community banks and bring them together under an umbrella, meaning Transact Card itself is not a bank, but they're working to coordinate because one of the executives has over 30 years in the banking industry. He's always been amazed at the success of a local community bank, but with the drawback of a limited base because it's a local community bank. So the idea was, what would happen if you could bring 10, 15, 20, 25, 30, 35 local community banks under the umbrella of a marketing company that could now attract a substantial base of consumers to now have the leverage that the big banks have without all of the fees and the limits that the big banks put. Because in case you guys aren't sure, we've been getting screwed by the banks our whole lives. Like I'm only 55, but I can remember having a savings account that accumulated interest.
Mhm.
Yeah.
I don't think that's happened in the last 30 years. I think I was 20 the last time I had a savings account that gave me interest. Now I have a bank account that they're constantly charging me fees.
Mhm.
How'd that happen? Oh, the banks got greedy. So that being said, Rudy, we are going to operate a marketing company with an umbrella that has access to the local community bank benefits without being limited as a local little regional community bank. That is why I say this is 3.0, because on this executive team, there is an executive with decades of experience in banking, an executive with decades of experience in supply chain distribution, which is going to be important for the Z Club, and an executive with decades of experience in the travel industry, because that's going to be a big part of our rewards benefits. I don't want to say too much, but I will say this. The majority of people out there that are in love with a credit card are in love with the travel benefits that they're trying to accumulate with that credit card. And I'll be the first one to tell you, when I was a corporate officer, I would fly and stay in hotels basically 3/4 of the year, meaning we had 365 nights, and I would be in a hotel room for 250 of those 365 nights. So I was constantly accumulating points with hotels, points with airlines, and points on the credit card, but then trying to redeem them for benefits. Oh my God. You might think I'm trying to rob a bank.
So
Between
basically, it depends on the individual lifestyle. Like I'm 65, I've never flown before, so at this moment, that's not a big interest to me. I'm a very, I don't do a whole lot of things. I'm kind of just a laid back guy, and I just, enjoy life. Like you, I've had, health issues and stuff. So I'm the kind of guy who very business minded, but I listen, make my own assessment, and do my homework. I've never been one to kind of just jump on the bandwagon, but if something interests me, you will see that I'm listening. I might not be saying nothing, but believe me,
Sure.
I'm in it. I always tell people I might not be the brightest bulb on the tree, but I'm on the tree.
There you go. No, and to your point, the reason why I bring up the travel is not so much for you or me. Quite
Right.
frankly, I live in Southwest Florida. I live where everybody goes on vacation. So I don't like going anywhere, to be honest with you.
Yeah. I've
I
never
can-
been there yet.
Let me put it this way. People say, are you near Orlando? I tell people we call that going north. I'm 3
Yeah.
hours of Orlando, so I don't even like going to Orlando because it
Yeah,
gets.
I got a friend in Orlando. Yeah.
But the reason I bring up travel is it's the number one reason why the masses use the credit card that they use because they're trying to get points for travel, whether they want to
Yeah.
go higher skiing or whatever. So a major part, not only, meaning it's going to have.
Yeah,
these-
that's why I was saying it just depends on their lifestyle. Like for you, flying was, a major thing. And for somebody else, something else might be a major thing for them, So
Sure.
yeah, I get that part.
But the reason I'm saying this is we have the best when it comes to a home-based business. If it's going to be massively successful, meaning it doesn't require somebody to have a special talent or skill set to share it,
Right.
you have to have an offering that everybody out there wants and needs. And that's what we have. The offering with Transact Card for a member is dollar for dollar Z-Bucks, which are the rewards whenever you spend money. So whenever you're shopping, whenever you're paying bills, and whatever it is that you're buying, whether it's necessities like groceries or you're going out to dinner or whatever, you swipe that Transact card just as you would any other credit or debit card, but you're going to
Right.
get Z-Bucks dollar for dollar, which, by the way, until the launch, anybody who joins gets double 2 Z-Bucks for every dollar spent. And then they can use those Z-Bucks in the Z Club and they
Yeah.
can either buy stuff or they can get trips and vacations. So that's the offering we have, and it's second to none. I will share with you that I've had the chance to peek a little bit behind the curtain. I was very impressed with what they put together.
Hey, John,
Okay.
I think that this is Trisha. I think that we are in a good position in that respect because I was listening to a TV show and I listened to Good Morning America, and they were discussing the fact that the airlines are making it harder now to get those reward points.
Yeah.
And so if they're making it harder to get those reward points, and we're in a position that said, hey, keep swiping that card and you're going to be able to use the travel that we provide.
Correct.
That, you're not going to have to go through, I have to have so many miles. No, it's every time you swipe the card. Save those, get your rewards.
Correct. And without going into detail, only because I don't have all the specifics and I never want to give anybody bad advice, I will tell you this much. When it comes to resorts, a lot of people have heard of timeshares. Some people may have even owned timeshares. But one of the things that I took away from my review was we're going to get all the benefits of being a timeshare owner without any of the headaches, meaning there will be thousands of resort stays all over the world that you'll be able to get a week stay for $199, $299.
Wow.
Now think about that for a second. That's what timeshare owners plunk $5,000 to $15,000 down, and then they pay a maintenance fee, usually in the neighborhood of $500 to $1,000 or more a year,
Right.
in order to have their free week.
Mm-hmm.
We're going to have that week at resorts all over the world for a fraction of the cost with no money down and no maintenance fees. That's the power of the travel benefit with Transact Card. The other benefit will be the shopping portal. Again, we're going to learn all about that after the national, after the launch. But I can tell you that their plans are whatever you would be buying on Amazon, ultimately you'll be able to find in the Transact Card Z Club, and you'll be able to see the same items at the same price, but buy that price down with Z-Bucks. For example, and this is just a for example, you were going to go buy either a $100 pair of sneakers or a $2,000 flat screen giant TV. You go to Amazon, you find it. You look in Z Club to see if it's there. It's there, same price. You were going to go buy this gigantic 65-inch flat screen TV for $2,000, but in the Z Club, that $2,000 TV, you can buy down the price with Z-Bucks. So let's just say, I'll make it conservative. Let's just say that you spent 500 Z-Bucks and you lowered the price from $2,000 to $1,500. Does that sound like a good deal? Absolutely. Or if you found the $100 pair of sneakers, but you could buy them down with 50 Z-Bucks. So now you spent 50 Z-Bucks and the sneakers only cost you $50. Those are some of the offerings that you'll find there. And the reason why that's an unbeatable deal is you got the Z-Bucks for free. You got the Z-Bucks when you were shopping and paying your bills that you were going to do anyway. The Z-Bucks were free. You then use them in a future transaction and get the real benefit and the real savings. That's a no-brainer. That is it's a one question IQ test for people.
Well
Mr.
said,
John.
John.
I'm sorry, Mr. John, this is Tyrone Ellis. First of all, I want to say thank you for your time tonight. I do have to ready to get off this call because I have to continue on when I'm working. But my question for you is, during your video, you mentioned about the presentation videos. Where can we find those in the back office?
The 3-minute video, I'm going to be lying if I say, let me see if I can pull it up real fast. I want to say it's transactcard.video.com, but I'm going to be, because I just pulled off my.
Is that the one you sent us today? We requested?
Yes, ma'am.
I can send that to him. I can send it to him.
If you wouldn't mind, I think it's transactcardvideo.com, but don't quote me on it. But whatever that is, Dr. Tyrone, that will give you the ability to show 3 different videos. There's 2 versions, versions of the short 3-minute customer video. And then after somebody has seen that, there's actually a 20-minute deep dive on the business opportunity that you can use as well. And we will make
that as well.
We'll make sure that you have that.
Thank you.
It's on this way.
Thank you so much for the question, and thank you for being here with us tonight.
Hey, John, this is Sam.
Yes, sir, Big Sam.
How you doing tonight?
Wonderful, my friend, and yourself?
I'm good. I just had a question. The $25 for individuals to become customers, that is extended along with the manager situation, correct?
I do. I believe that they both have been extended to the 12th.
Okay, I just wanted to get a firm understanding because I have people that were clamming and racing to try to get that done. And, of course, you want to get it done sooner than later. You never want to procrastinate, but I just wanted to make sure that they know that they have that time and not have to, just feel like they're under the gun. That's all.
I can promise yes until midnight tonight, but I will look and get something out there to you tomorrow if it has changed. I don't think it has. I'm almost positive that they've extended both, but rather than lie and tell you for sure right now, I'll get the answer for you for tomorrow.
Okay. Thank you.
You're welcome.
I'm sure exactly how to go about this. But this is what you did on the CNC.
Yeah. So there's a few spots that kind of got burned last
Do you have any other questions, comments, or thoughts?
So this is Anthony Tyler. I have a question for you.
Yes, sir.
So just say, for instance, a business owner comes on board and pays his people via Cash App, so forth and so say comes aboard, wants to use the Transact card for direct deposits to pay his employees. Does that work?
I believe, yes. I have not yet personally signed up a business that does that, but I was told that yes, with the banking platform going forward, so on November 15th, when it's unveiled, we'll have the steps for that a business owner can actually set their employees up with Transact card as a TCM, set their banking account up through Transact card with the business and direct deposit to it, because that is one of the benefits of the program, that you can have, your work set your direct deposit up to your Transact card account and basically fund your account every time you get paid.
Okay, so now when they fund the account and pay the employees, does funding the account, so the deposit that comes in for the payment of the employees, does that count as like a Z-Buck towards a Z-Bucks or some type of reward, or is it just when the employee spends?
That's a great question that I will get the answer to you for that.
Okay.
I'm going to go out on a limb. I'm always on the conservative side, so I'm going to go out on a limb and say that they don't get Z-Bucks for the sending of the paycheck, but if it goes on to a Transact card debit account, whenever the employees swipe, they would get basis points, meaning get paid. They wouldn't get Z-Bucks because the employee is going to get the Z-Bucks,
right?
But the owner would get commissions. They would receive commissions or the basis points every time those transactions went.
Okay, so what do those commissions look like?
They are on each individual swipe, very small. Basis points are based on thousandths of a percent. And I'll give you a simple analogy. If we used 10 basis points on a monthly spending of $2,500, the basis points on that would equal $2.50. So if you were only getting 5 basis points, it would be $1.25. So it's very small per swipe and per member. So the goal, just like the banks, the goal is to get the most amount of basis points that you can off of as many Transact card members as possible. Because if you look at it in terms of, well, I'm only going to make $2.50 off of that customer, that's not a lot of money. But if you develop a network and your network should have 1,000 customers and you were getting $2.50 for each customer, that's pretty healthy. And I can tell you, because of my background as a compensation plan specialist, I used to develop them as a consultant for companies. This is a very, very healthy compensation plan.
Okay, I appreciate that. Thank you.
Thank you for the questions.
Hey, John, this is Tricia. Going off the question the gentleman just asked, my son was asking me something similar. If he works for LOF or Chrysler, and he just wants to have his paycheck deposited to his Transact card. Now they can do that even though the company itself, as large as it is not, connected to Transact. He just wants his paycheck deposited there. Can they do that?
Correct. That was one of the original things that they had talked about was, as a Transact card member, the easiest way to fund your account is to just have your work, meaning you submit that banking information to the job and you have them send the paycheck directly to the account. So the answer is yes. And they'll have all the steps to do that with the launch, meaning all of this was in operation up until about 5 weeks ago when the company needed to transition. And quite honestly, it was the best reason to have this problem. The company has, during pre-launch, exceeded 50,000 people.
Wow. In that short period of time.
they weren't expecting to hit that number until May or June of next year. But we have in this pre-launch beta test, we have more than 25,000 digital branch offices and just shy of 25,000 Transact Card members. But in total, it's over 50,000 people have enrolled.
Wow.
So yeah, we're in at the beginning, but this thing is it's a bullet train. It's going 100 miles per hour right now.
Mm-hmm.
But I thank you all for the questions.
One
Any other
quick question.
questions before we go? Yes, sir.
This is Gene Tracy. One quick question. If a person signs up with you as a card member, and decides that they want to become a BDO, is that feasible for them to do with that? Would it be easier for them to do that, or what would the procedure be?
It is. Once they become a Transact Card member, they'll have their customer portal. And if at any point they want to upgrade themselves up to becoming a digital branch office, there's just a button that they hit. Then they fill out the information and pay the fee, and they become a branch office.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
We
sounds
honestly,
good.
Gene, we anticipate a lot of people doing that.
Right.
We respect the concern and caution initially,
Right.
but once again, I tell people, once you start using it and realizing it really does work,
Right.
Mm-hmm.
you're going to want to share it with people that you care about. And
Right,
then
exactly.
say, why am I not getting paid for that? So it'll be a very natural progression that people go through.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that's a good basis to work this out. TME customers.
Absolutely.
Well,
And-
you know, there was an email that came out this morning regarding to someone going to dinner. Buffalo Wild Wings spent $100 with friends and end up getting $200 back.
Nice.
Yeah, I remember seeing that.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So that was
Nice.
good.
So
Are there
on
any
the
more
re-
questions? Mhm.
yeah, so on the residual side, right, as a DBO, the grand scheme of things is, like you say, to be able to see significant residual incomes monthly, you have to have a pretty large influx of card members under you, correct?
Well, I'll put this in perspective. And I'm going to say this with the highest amount of respect for everybody. I want this to come out the wrong way. I was involved in the deregulation of long distance in 1993.
Mm-hmm.
Some of you have heard of the company ACN.
Mm-hmm. Yes.
I was there when it was formed. I was one of the first 200 reps in the company. I was there at the beginning, and I was there for 4 years before I walked away. Built a residual income in excess of $15,000 on nickels and dimes. Nickels and dimes is what I got paid each month per customer.
Mm-hmm.
That eventually that network had over 125,000 representatives. Lord knows how many customers. But I say that very humbly, Anthony. I was not concerned anymore that it was only a nickel or a dime per customer. It became over 15,000. When I got involved in the deregulation of energy, of electricity and natural gas,
Mm-hmm.
my partner and I split per customer 50 cents and 25 cents. If it was a 100% green customer, we got paid 50 cents. If it was regular standard electricity customer, we got paid 25 cents. That's what we paid per customer. And I had a partner and we split that in half. And that residual got over $35,000 per month on splitting quarters in half, because the majority of our customers were 25 cents. So I only say that to you, Anthony. I'm looking at, you're going to pay me $1.50, $2.50 per customer. I can't wait until the network grows. And it might not make sense right now, but to me, I'm just looking at the landscape. I guarantee you that 2 years from now, provided there's no craziness that you can't foresee, that within 2 years, each and every one of you, if you want, could have a residual $10,000 a month or more. I plan on mine being north of 25,000, if not 50,000, residually based on people just swiping their cards.
Mm-hmm.
So Anthony, I say again, with the utmost respect, $1.25 or $2.50 per customer is huge when it comes
Yes,
to
it is.
services.
Hey,
Definitely.
John,
I can see that being realistic.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. And that's why we have to all go out there and get 30, 40, 50, 100 Transact card members, not just qualified, but because everyone you come into, just like Miss Tricia, do you shop? Do you spend money? Do you buy stuff? Fantastic. You need to take a look at this.
Mm-hmm.
Go right ahead, Miss Tricia. I know you were going to say something.
Okay, Rod's here, so he wanted to ask a question.
All righty.
How's everybody doing?
Great. How are you?
All right. How's all my millionaires doing?
Great. How are you?
Good. We're millionaires. But my question is this here. When is the next meeting? Because there's about 6 people from Charter that's kind of excited about this, and they wanted to be on the call. So I wanted to let them know when the next call would be.
You mean the Zoom that we're on right now?
Yes.
We're going to do this again on Thursday night at 8:30.
Mm-hmm.
Thursday at 8:30?
Correct.
Yes.
All day tomorrow, there's presentations by the company it's called a Wednesday Blitz. So you get people exposed to the presentation.
No, 8:30
They know
Thursday.
that they're all welcome to come here at Zoom Thursday night at 8:30 p.m. Eastern Standard.
Okie dokie. I'll let them know.
Fantastic.
And John, I got one other thing. I'm sorry. This is Sam.
Go right ahead, sir.
This is what's getting me so excited. You know, people are really basing the income, and this is not a dig at Anthony. Anthony's my boy. That's my guy. But the swipes are, I mean, don't get me wrong, they're good, but that revenue sharing pool is what everyone should pretty much have their mind on. That's all I care about. I'm not gonna say that's all I care about.
No,
but
let me pause you right there. You're 100% correct. I'm glad you brought it up. That's why every single one of you has to have the mindset be a manager. And I got to help my 3 become a manager, which makes you a senior manager, because you're looking at $1,500 a month right there.
Yes, right there.
Let me correct
And
myself.
when you hit vice president, you really are done. I mean, the other 2 ranks are going to be, you're going to hit them by default. So
Correct.
It's just crazy that we have never seen nothing like this in this industry, to be able to. When you see the ranks that they hit, I'm like, are they nuts? Are they serious?
And I'm just going to correct myself real fast and put it out there so Sam, everybody can, if they're watching this, know exactly what you're talking about. If you hit manager, you are eligible to up to $500 in monthly bonus based upon the community revenue sharing pool. And that's based on the growth of the company and the overall revenue. Senior manager, up to $1,500. Again, based upon you helping your 3 become a manager and as the company's overall revenue grows. And then as Sam mentioned, vice president, which is again, you got your 3, you helped them to get their 3, which made them managers. And then you helped those 9 to get their 3, which made your 3 senior managers. You now are a vice president and you earn up to $12,500 a month. Folks, you get to that position, you're done.
You're done.
That's 100,000 plus residual based on people and the company growing. And I say this again very humbly. If you don't think you can become massively successful, get yourself to manager and let the company become massively successful and take your $500 a month bonus. Or hit senior manager and take your $1,500 a month. Because the company, as I've shared with you, is growing with or without me, with or without you. They're going to go stratospheric.
John,
Yes, Ms.
hello?
Trish.
I'm sorry. How much, what about the president?
I don't have them memorized beyond vice president, but I can tell you it's substantial. I want to say it's 25,000 a month. It might be more.
President is 30.
It's 30,000
It's
Yeah,
for
30.
president, and it's 20,000 for senior vice president.
But
Yeah, the
vice
reason why-
president is 150,000 a year. We done. I mean, if we could do this full time at that point. That's what I want to do.
Yeah, the
Absolutely.
reason-
And guys, that's a position that if you really wanted to, you could by yourself. You could personally, if you made the effort, you could personally enroll 39 digital branch offices and structure it 3, 9, 27 for a total of 39 and build yourself, legitimately build yourself to vice president. I don't recommend it. That's not how to do it. But if somebody said, I'm tired of networking and relying on other people, then just go talk to 200 people, fail by 60%, okay? Fail by 70% and get 39 in. Thanks for bringing it up, Sam, because that's a great point. The community revenue sharing pool is huge.
Okay, John, someone just texted me and want to know this question here. Is there a way that his wife can become a customer without entering her social security number? Already text them the answer, but I need for you to go ahead and relay it again.
I believe so, because this is 100% transparent and above board, because it involves the banking industry. It would be like walking into Bank of America or Wells Fargo or Chase Bank and saying, I would like a bank account, and then not giving them your social security number. So I recognize and appreciate people's concerns with giving that information away, but because it's regulated by the banking industry, it's the same exact response as if you walked into, like I said, you pick whichever bank you would respect and trust, Bank of America, Wells Fargo, whatever. They would not let you sign up an account without giving your social security number. It's not allowed.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Are there any more questions for tonight?
Ms. Tracy, the workaround to that would be, they have a Transact card themselves. Try to get a second Transact card, under your name. I don't know if the company would do that. I mean, my son's 16, he will have a Transact card.
My son as well, yeah. Yeah, okay.
But I thank you all for all of the questions. I hope you guys are excited. I don't mind staying here all night because I want you to leave excited and empowered. So we'll do this as long as you guys want, but I don't want anybody to feel stuck. If you don't have questions and you're done, I don't want this to be laborious. My goal is to come on here, 2-3 times a week and reinforce whatever you need reinforced and teach whatever you need taught.
All right. I'm sorry.
Thanks, Big John. Thank you, my sister, Tracy.
You're very welcome, Big Sam. Thanks for being here.
All right, thank you, Sam. All right,
Thanks, John. Thanks, John.
all right, we're gonna wrap this up, and tomorrow
y'all
is
Thursday.
Wednesday.
All right, everybody.
Tomorrow is
All right.
Wednesday.
Good
See
night.
everyone.
God bless
Have a
everyone.
blessed evening. Bye,
you
John.
Thursday.
Thank you.
All right.
You're welcome.